Morning students, welcome back to computer science class. In today's class we are going to learn about data types. This is a new chapter what we are going to learn, and it is very important chapter. In order to write the programs you should know what is a data type. You might be thinking what is this data type? Without data you can't write any program. You need to give some input data in order to get the output. So what type of data we have to input you should know. Okay, without knowing the type of data what you have to input, and the system also should know what type of data you have given it as an input. So before using that data in your program, you should categorize that data based on their category, that is what type it belongs. So data can be a number, or it can be a float, that is decimal point values it can have, and it can be a character, or it can be a collection of characters, that is a string. So these all can become a data. So which data belongs to which type, the system has to know, and how much memory has to be allocated for which data also the computer has to know. So in order to categorize this data, we are using a concept that is called as data types. So basically data type means it is a type of data which is used in the program. Okay, what type of data you are using in the program? So there are different data types. So we will be learning about those data types. So these are the different concepts what we are going to learn in this chapter, that is introduction. Variables. Variables are the values which keeps changing during the execution of the program, that does not remain constant, is called as variables. We are going to learn about variables. Data types. So what is a data type? What are the different data types which are present? And we are going to learn each data type and the syntax for how writing the data type. Syntax is nothing but the rule how to write the data types. So all these we are going to study in data types. Then we have C++ enum type. This is also one of the data types. So these are the different concepts which we are going to cover in this chapter. Okay. Without wasting your time, let us go to the first concept, that is introduction. In introduction, we are going to learn about a programming language. In order to understand any programming language or learn any programming language, first we should know the basic concepts, that is the elementary concepts. So any language if you take, whether it is an English or whether it is an Kannada or Hindi, any language, you have to learn the basic concepts first, and then only you can start learning the language. Same way in the programming language also, first we have to learn the basic concepts, that is elementary concepts, which will form the basic building block for that program. So in order to write any program, you should learn the concepts first, and then only you can start writing the program. So one day itself you can't learn the entire language. It is a slow process, that is first we have to learn the basic concepts and then we can start writing the program. The basic building blocks include variable, data types, etc. So in basic building blocks, these are the building blocks for in order to learn the language. So basic concepts you should learn. Without these concepts you cannot write a program. So you should know what is a variable, what is data type, what is constant. All these questions if you are able to answer, then only you will understand the program properly. I'm telling you again and again this basic building blocks. So you know what are these basic building blocks. They are the concepts which are needed for writing a program. So I've told you about variables, data types, constant we have studied in previous class, keyword. All these forms are basic building blocks in order to write a program. So C++, this language, will provide a set of data types. So we are not giving any data types. So C++ itself is providing the set of data types to handle the data, which type of data, so which under which data type it comes. So all this will be studying in this chapter. So that can be used by the program. So what does C++ provide? C++ is a language that will provide us a set of data types. Okay, it provides some data types to handle the data. Okay, that can be used by the program. In our previous class, we studied about the structure of programming language, that is C++ language. So the language, in this language, we will write the program following the structure what I have told you in the previous class. The first statement, this is not a mandatory statement, it is not compulsory you have to write, it is a non-executable statement. So you'll be thinking what is the statement, why we are using the statement. We are using the statement for the understanding of the user. Okay, so it always starts with a slash and asterisk. Again, we end with an asterisk and a slash, and this statement is known as comment statement. This is known as comment statement. And the next two lines, that is hash include iostream.h, hash include conio.h. These two are called as preprocessor directives. Preprocessor directives, these two directives will be including all the header files, that is all the functions which are there, which we are using in the program, will be included in these header files. Why I am telling it as header file? Because we are using .h. So whenever we are having an image file, so we'll be writing img.jpeg. So what extension it is? JPEG. Same way here also we have got .h. .h is an extension for the header file. So this header file will contain some functions. So all these functions will be stored in this header files. Okay, so coming to the first header file, that is hash include iostream.h. IO is input output. So input output stream. So you will be having functions related to input and output. For example, you will be having functions like cout, cin. All these functions will be stored in iostream.h. Again, I am telling .h is an header file. Okay, the next statement, that is hash include conio.h. Conio is console input output dot header file. Console, what is a console? It is a monitor, your display screen. All the functions which are related to your display screen, that is your console unit, all the output what we get, the formatting which has been done, all that functions will be stored in this conio.h. The next statement, void main. Void main is compulsory. Any program will start execution from the void main. So no program will be without the main function. Okay, so now we have written two brackets over here. This is called as a function. Okay, so this is called as a function. So it is void. Void is one of the data type we'll be studying now. Void, and main is a function. Okay, then we open a bracket over here and then close a bracket. When we start a program, we open a flower bracket. When we end a program, we close it with a closing bracket. And these two lines what we have written, the preprocessor directives, these are called as preprocessor directives. These are important when we write the program. Without this, the functions will not work. So you can just write this header files before starting any program, any C++ program. Okay, the next thing what you have to do is the statement here, that is int a comma b comma c. So what type of data we are using in this program? Why we are writing this program? To add two numbers. So in order to add two numbers, you need two variables, that is two values you need, that is a and b. So we are using a and b, that is to store the two values, that is we are storing 10 in a and 20 in b. So 10 is stored in a, 20 is stored in b. So what does this a contain now? 10. What does this b contain? 20. Now what we are doing, we are adding these two numbers here using this plus operation. 10 plus 20 is added and it will be stored in c. So who is storing this value? The final output result c is storing. Okay, so the value of c becomes 30. So we are doing the processing here. Okay, here two values we are given. What these values are? 10 and 20. That will be stored in a and b. Now we are adding these two values and we are storing in c. So cout sum is equal to c. So finally cout is a function which is needed to put the value, that is whatever answer we get, the result will be displayed in c. Then we close the bracket over here. So this is how a program should look. Okay, this is one of the simple programs. So you have to write this program 2 to 3 times. In order to understand the concept, you should know what is each statement in the programs. So when we are writing this program, you might have seen the semicolon which has been used. When we end each statement, we have to end with a semicolon. So here also you can see a semicolon in all the statements. So in all these statements, we are using semicolon in order to end the statement. So this is also important. The next concept what we are going to learn is variable. I kept on telling you this is one of the basic building block in order to write a program. Without the variables, we cannot write a program. So a variable is an object. It is an object or it is an element that keeps changing. Okay, it keeps changing during the execution of the program. Okay, a variable is an object or an element and it is allowed to change. Okay, it can change. It need not be constant. It keeps changing during the execution of the program. So that is variable. So why we need this variable? It represents the name of the memory location. Let us take an example. That is A is equal to 10. Okay, A is equivalent to 10. So the value of A is 10. So this 10 is stored in A. So A is a variable here. We have a memory location. Okay, this is a memory and this 10 is stored in the memory. So 10 is stored here and this memory location will have a name, that is A. So in A what is there? In this location 10 is there. Like how each one is having an house. In that house you are storing and that house will have a number. Okay, same way here also A. A is the location, that is name of the location. The house name, you have a name for the house, no? So same way here also for this memory location we have a name. Variable represents the name of the memory location. The name of this memory location is A. So in this A what is stored? 10 is stored. So what this A contains? 10. So hope you understood the concept, that is variable. A variable, it can be an object or it can be an element. It is allowed to change. So initially A value is 10. The next time it can become 20 and again it can become 50. It keeps changing during the execution of the program. Then it is called as variable. So let us see the declaration of the variable. The declaration of the variable, that is how do you declare a variable. So you will think, what is this declare? Why we have to declare a variable? What is the need of declaring a variable? Only when we declare a variable in the program, we will be able to use that variable. Okay. So only if when you are using that variable, we have to tell the system that we are using this variable to allocate so much space for that variable. Otherwise, where this variable will be stored, won't be stored. That the value in the variable has to be stored in some location. In order to use this variable in the program, we have to declare that variable using a data type. The data type will be studying, okay, the type of data what we are using in the program. So there are different types. So which type it belongs, this variable belongs to which type has to be mentioned here. That will be the first statement, that is declaration of the variable. And the variable name is an identifier. In order to declare a variable, we have to write the data type and then the variable name. So in order to use this variable in the program, you have to declare that variable using the data type. So which type it belongs, this variable belongs to which type of data. So you have to mention here. And next thing, the variable name, here what we have given here is an identifier. When I was explaining in the previous class, I was telling you about identifier. So the identifier will have some rules. You have to follow that rules in order to write the identifier. The same rules has to be followed for the variable name also. Okay, the variable name should start with an character and it should not have any special characters except underscore. And the variable name should not be a keyword, that is a reserved word. We cannot use that word. And there should not be space between the two words when we are writing an identifier. Always it should be joined together. Okay, so these were some of the rules we studied in while studying identifier. So those rules must be followed for the variable name also. And these variables are used to denote constants. So when we are using these variables, we are assigning some constant values to these variables. Not only constant, we also assign arrays, functions, structure, classes and files. All these we will be studying in our next classes. We will be studying what is an array, what is a function and structure. This year we will be studying, and in next year, that is in second year, we will be studying about classes and files. Some of the valid variables are register number, marks, name, student 1, date of birth. Okay, all these are. I have told you previously that the rules that has to be followed by identifier should also be followed by the variables. So there are some invalid variables here, and why it is invalid I will tell you. Double is a keyword. Keyword means it's a reserved word. and it cannot be used as a variable. Okay, if you use as a variable, it will not take as a variable, you will get as a error. Okay, when you are writing a program, when you are using a keyword, you get an error because it is a keyword and you cannot use it as a variable. Okay, the next example you can see total marks. Total separately can be a variable, marks also can be a variable. When these two are there together, you should not leave any empty space between, blank space between these words. If you leave a blank space between these words, then these variables are not valid. Okay, you understood, I think. No blank space should be allowed between the variables. Then you have two student. Two student means two is a number over here. Okay, 2 is a number here, and the first letter should be an alphabet. Since it is not an alphabet, again this is not a valid. So the next is ampersand result. Here you can see an ampersand over here. Again the first letter should be an alphabet. That is, variable should begin with an alphabet or underscore, but here it is starting with a special character. So this is also not a valid variables. So hope you understood which are the valid. It should start with an alphabet and there should be no space between two words, and it should not be a keyword. All these rules has to be followed when you are writing the variables. The next concept what we are studying is initializing a variable. Initialization means you are giving some initial values to the variable. For example, that a I have given in the program, no, a is equal to 10. What does that a contain? 10. So that is the initial value which has been given. So how do you do that? You have a rule for that, a syntax to initialize a variable. First you have to write the data type name, then the variable name, then you have to use this equal sign. In operators, I have told you equal sign is an assignment operator. So this value will be stored in this variable. So this is how you can initialize a variable. So here you can see the example here, int p is equal to 100. So 100 is the value that p contains. Okay, where it contains at a location, that is 2000, that location, this 100 is stored. This is the memory address where it is stored. Okay, so 2000 in that place, 100 is stored, but what is the variable name there? P. So here you can see int is the data type, p is the variable name, equal is the assignment operator, and 100 is the value that has been initialized to p. So what does that p contain? It contains 100. Where it contains, which place it contains? At 2000 memory location. In that address 100 is being stored with the name p. Okay. So here the name of the variable is p. Value assigned to the variable is 100. What value is assigned? 100 is assigned. So that is called as R value. Okay. That is called as R value. And memory address location is 2000. So the location where this 100 is stored is memory location, that is L value, which is R value. R value is the value assigned to variable and L value is the memory address of that location is L value. Okay, what is data type? This is very important. What is data type? Data type can be defined as a set of values. So 2 or 3 values are there. So these values are together a set of values, okay, which can be stored in a variable. Where you can store in a variable along with the operations that can be performed on those values. So let us again define. Okay, so data types can be defined as set of values. It can be 10, 20, 30, 40, okay, which can be stored in a variable. So that value can be stored in a variable, like a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. So that value has been stored in the variable along with the operations. What is this operations? Operation is like addition, multiplication, division. All these are the operations that can be performed on those values. Okay, you understood, I think. That is, data types can be defined as a set of values. So 2 or 3 values are there and these values can be stored in a variable. So which variable? It can be A, B, C. Okay, so any variable it can store along with the operations. Which kind of operations it can perform? So there are different operations that can be performed on the values, like addition, subtraction, all these operations that can be performed on those values. So this is the meaning for data type. So there are different types of data types, that is fundamental data type, derived data type, user defined data types. These are the different data types that we are going to study. So different types of data types, that is, you have fundamental data types, then you have got derived data types, then user defined data types. We will be studying about these data types in the next class. Let us have a recap of what we have studied today. In today's class, we studied what is a variable. Variable is an object or an element which keeps changing during the execution of the program. Variable will represent the name of the memory location. Later, we studied how to declare a variable or how to write the syntax for the variable. So, we can write the syntax for the variable. That is, first we have to mention data type, and then we have to write the variable name and then put a semicolon. The variable name is user defined, that is, the user will give the variable name. It is an identifier. The variables can be a constant or it can be an array or function. So I told you about the variable, and I told you some valid and invalid variables also. Then how do you initialize a variable? The syntax for initializing a variable is, first you have to write the data type, then the variable name equal to value. So the value will be assigned to the variable. Then we studied what is data type. Data types can be defined as a set of values which can be stored in a variable along with the operations that can be performed on those values. So it is set of values which can be stored in a variable.